Welcome, everybody. My thought for you that I've been fooling with this week or playing with this week is on motivation. So I originally started saying that, there's a point where we start to get a little bit settled in the way that things are, and we start to assume that the way that things are is just, good enough, or that there's nothing we can do about it. But that we find that there's the things in us that motivate us to move forward, that motivate us to try and find something more, something different, are often not what we expect them to be, right? So there's those sort of abstract ideas of what we think should motivate us, and then there's the actual things in our life that actually do motivate us, right? So I started with that concept of what actually gets you out of bed and gets you moving in your life, what actually convinces you to try harder or to keep going when you're convinced that you can't possibly keep going anymore. But as the week has gone on, what's happened for me is it started out with, from my own personal experience being, my inner competitiveness is something that motivates me. And what came into my awareness, and I think this is always what happens, is that when we're looking for the opportunity to elevate ourselves, is that the universe gives us a way to re-understand what we think we know about ourselves. So a mantra that I hadn't heard in a while came back into, my playlist, or it started coming back into my mind. And the main phrase that the mantra is about, or the concept, is Cherdi, and it's from Kundalini Yoga. And I never knew, because I've been listening to this for years, and I never knew what it meant. So I actually went and looked it up, what it actually means. And what the phrase refers to is this energy of ever present or ever rising optimism, right? Of eternal resurrection, of eternal recreation. So the idea is that no matter what there is that's going on experience-wise, is that this is the energy that's rising. This is the energy that is buoyant. This is the energy that says that there's a place where you can take one more step forward. You can take one more breath forward, even when the world feels like it's extremely heavy. And when you're not sure why you're continuing to try to do anything, this is the energy that can kick in. So for me, there's been this sort of awareness that what really is the motivating factor for me is that energy, right? And that it's something that we need right now, because it's very easy to look at the world and get pessimistic. It's very, very easy to look at your own life and get pessimistic and say that as much as I've worked, or as hard as I've worked, or as far as I've gotten, that this is it, that's as far as I can go. It's easy to do that and say, I've worked hard enough and this is the best I can do. I want to give up. Right? And that's when we start to feel that stagnation. That's when we start to feel the mind get kind of heavy and the body get kind of, oh. And how do we get through that, right? It's hard to generate the motivation within yourself to say, I want to break past that feeling of limitation. But there is that energy, the Cherdi Kala, that is your own rising spirit, right? That is that eternal energy that is just optimistic, that there's a way forward. Even if you haven't seen it yet, there's a way forward. Even if you're sure that everything that's happening right now is completely wrong, there's that sense of, no, it isn't. There's a rightness that's right around the corner. You just haven't noticed it yet. So that energy of ever rising optimism, of your ever rising spirit, that's the motivation that we're looking for, because that transcends any particular aspect of yourself. That transcends any particular moment in your life that feels like it's too much, right? So I want you to look for that, is that actual feeling of where is there optimism in me? Even if I have a lot of challenges or if things are extremely difficult, is where is there a sense that there's a little bit of space to breathe? And it doesn't have to be I have a solution or I have an answer, but it's just that feeling, that optimism that says there is a place where I can breathe easier, that there is a way for me to move forward, right? So comfortable seat if you're not there already. Let the eyes close. Ever rising optimism. And I like that in some of the reading I was doing that the comparison was made. This is like the energy of the phoenix rising, right? So the phoenix, that fiery energy that when it reaches its peak and seems like it's going to burn itself out, what happens is that it just rises again, right? So maybe it has that kind of extinguishment and for a moment it rests, but then it rises again. And this is us, right? We are that eternal energy that has the ability to continuously transform, to continuously find where there is that sense of optimism. But you will rise again. You are rising again. Find your breath and feel your breath as something that is buoyant. as though you were floating on water. Let yourself imagine that you are actually surrounded in that fluidness, and your breath is holding you. So it's not a direction, but it's a feeling of dropping into lightness. It's not just your effort that holds you up. It's actually the releasing of effort that allows you to really feel held. I really think it's that feeling that we're being held that is the determining factor, the convincing factor of if we move past or if we move through what our personal challenges are. Feel your breath as something that is lifting you. Whatever heaviness there is, your breath is a constant place of lightness. But if nothing else, every breath that you take, that is moving forward. That is moving through. One more breath, optimistic. And bring the hands together in front of the heart center, palm to palm. Rub your hands. Yeah, become tangible with your prana. That means I want you to feel it, the actual current, the actual reality. Good, rub fast. Ignite. If you're going to be a phoenix, you got to be on fire. Go. Good, and then steady your palms at your heart. Just feel the vibration, feel the heat. Feel that there is energy coursing through you and that you made it bigger. We'll open with the sound of Om. Deep breath in. And let the eyes float open. Nice, you guys. You can release your hands from in front of your heart center. Come forward, please, to hands and knees. Good. As you find your hands underneath your shoulders, your knees underneath your hips, begin to cat-cow your spine. Inhaling, lengthening as long as you can, and then exhaling, curling and rounding. So you're finding the length of your spine, front of the body, back of the body. Jackie, just move your hands a little wider, please. There you go. I know your shoulders are not that narrow. Good. Beautiful, you guys. Waking up. Good. Move just a little bit faster for a couple of breaths. Yeah, I want you to feel the drop of your heart between your shoulders and the lift of your heart between your shoulders. Good. Nice. And then start to bring yourself back to stillness, please. Good. Neutral spine. Stretch your right arm out wide to the right. Slide that arm behind your left wrist. Right shoulder finds the floor. Turn your gaze. Walk the left arm forward towards straight. Good. Press into your shin. So your weight is not all falling forward onto that shoulder, but you're actually pressing into the lower body, drawing your hips back. Good. So Ronnie, we're doing thread the needle. I think you lost us there. Okay. Good, you guys. One more breath. Draw in the low belly. Press into the back of the heart. So draw your rib cage back and in from the front. And then bring yourself all the way back up to hands and knees. Good. Go to the second side. Take your left arm out and wide. Slide behind the right wrist. Shoulder finds the floor. Turn your gaze. Walk the right arm forward towards straight. Good. And again, pressing into your shins. Have a little scoop of your low belly. Good. So that as you come into that twist, it's a realistic feeling of actually moving your ribs and your pelvis in opposition. Nice. And breathe into the back of the heart. Good. Nice, you guys. One more breath, ribs in, and then bring yourself all the way back up to hands and knees. Good. Right leg comes back behind you. Lift that leg up in line with your hip. Take your left arm forward, up in line with your shoulder. So left arm lifts, right leg lifts. Good. And then you're drawing in through your low belly. So really pull in, look forward, inhale your breath, get super long. And then exhale, bring your elbow and knee together underneath you, round your back. So pull into that cat position and squeeze the elbow and the knee against each other. Good. And then inhale, extend all the way out without dropping the ribs. Lift your chest forward, 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 and up. Good. And then exhale, curl in again, elbow to knee, round. Pull up through that back body. So again, lift the back of your heart. And then extend all the way back out. Good. Again, lifting your heart a little higher, floating that left armpit higher. Last time, bring the elbow and knee together. Exhale, round. Pull up through your low spine. Pull up through your middle ribs. Good. And then extend all the way back out. Nice job. Take your left hand back to the floor. Keep it there. Keep the right leg lifted. Bend your knee. Kick your heel in towards your butt. Keep your knee pointing straight down. So move your heel towards the outer edge of your hip. Good. That means your right hip is going to spin down towards the floor a little more. Yep. And then scoop into that low belly. Press up through that heel. Just do little pulses like that. Like you're just pressing your heel up towards the ceiling, little. I want you to feel it mostly in your butt. So it shouldn't be a huge movement. And you don't want your ribs falling towards the floor. You don't want your pelvis falling towards the floor. Little tiny movements. Squeeze your heel in. Good. So Jen, pull your heel in a little bit more. Kristen, pull your heel in a little bit more. Little tiny pulses. Feel your butt. Yep. If you've been in class, you know that I've been on a fitness video kick. So I'm coming back to my roots of how do you sculpt your body into its most magnificent state. Good. One more breath. Kick that heel high. Squeeze it in. Pause. Good. And then extend that leg back out to straight, please. Cross it over your left ankle. So take it to the bottom left-hand corner of your mat. Drop the toes to the floor. Look over your left shoulder towards that heel. Good. Don't let your hip drop in space, so keep it lifted. Nice. Beautiful. And then come back to center, please. Nice job. Release that right knee down to the floor. Good. Second side, take your left leg back behind you. Lift it up in line with your hip. Walk the right arm forward to straight. Take the balance. Good. And again, it's that full extension, but keep that right shin pressed to the floor. So you're not leaning forward towards your knee, but you're using that whole shin. On your exhale, bring the elbow and knee together underneath your belly. Round your back. Squeeze in. Push up through the back of your heart. Good. And then inhale, extend all the way out. Find the lift of your collarbones. Keep squeezing the left arm and the right knee towards each other. And then exhale, pull in again. Round your back, elbow to knee. Pull up, pull up, pull up. Good. And then extend all the way back out. Other benefits of things like this, because you're balancing, is that it's forcing your mind to focus on one thing. One more breath. And then exhale, curl in, elbow to knee, round. Good. Beautiful. And then pull all the way back out to straight, extend. Nice job. Right hand comes down to the floor. Left leg stays lifted. Bend the knee, kick your heel in towards your butt. Like you really intend your heel to come in towards your butt. And then move your heel slightly out towards the outer edge of your hip. So it's going to turn your outer left hip down towards the floor. Good. Now start to pulse, lifting that heel, lifting that foot up towards the ceiling. Little movements. Foot stays flexed. Good. Little movements like you're going to push your heel up towards the sky. So it's going to move through your thigh. I don't want your ribs to drop, so keep your low belly in. It's going to feel like it's harder to lift your thigh when you keep your low belly in. That's good. Good. Little tiny movements. Feel it in your butt. Nice, you guys. Good. Right. We have to do things that take us out of whatever our routine state of mind is, especially when it's a pessimistic one. So when a lot of things around us are not changing, is what you can change is what you are doing with the energy coursing through you. That's what we're always told. That's what we're told over and over again. One more breath, lift and squeeze, pause. Good. And then extend that leg all the way back out to straight. Cross it over your right ankle. So bring the foot to the bottom right-hand corner of your mat, toes tucked under. Look over your right shoulder. Good. Don't drop the hips. Don't drop the shoulders. Try to keep that feeling of level. Nice. These subtle things that wake up parts of your body that maybe have not been working for you, that have not been a source of strength. It makes such a strange difference. Good. Come back to center, please. Hands and knees. Take your knees wide. Drop your hips back to your heels, child's pose. Beautiful. And walk your torso to the right, please, over the right thigh. And so much of our energy is going into just managing the world. And managing the outside world, and it usually means that it takes our energy away from really paying attention to and managing our inner world. And that's when we have that burnout. Come back to center, walk to your left. And that burnout often leads us to a place that is pessimistic about what's possible. We say we're too tired to move forward. We've exhausted all of our ideas, all of our options, all of our strength. Just like the phoenix, you can burn out over and over again, and yet you still have the ability to rise. Taking one more breath. And it's finding the place in the inner world where there is still the optimism. I am able to move forward and I want to move forward. There's a reason to move forward. Come back to center. That the name you give to that reason is entirely up to you. That's your personal experience. That feeling of optimism is universal. It's in every one of us. Ever rising. It's never drawing down. It's always lifting up. Walk yourself back up to hands and knees. Good. Come into downward facing dog. Tuck your toes, lift your hips. Beautiful. Stretch the right leg up and back behind you. Down dog split. Good. Pulling back through that heel. Pull back, pull back, pull back. Nice. And then step that foot forward between the hands. Lunge. Good. Look forward. Walk your fingertips straight ahead. Step up to standing split so the hands stay on the floor or blocks. Good. So kick that left thigh up. Nice. Scoop into your low belly. Drop your heart towards that right thigh, right shin. Good. So both hands to the floor, standing split. There you go. And then step all the way back to a lunge, please. Inhale the arms up to the sky. High lunge. Rise up. Good. And then exhale. Release the hands down to the floor. Good. Walk forward. Step up, standing split. Yeah. Kick that thigh higher. Good. Deep breath, bow deeply in, and then step back to a lunge. Inhale the arms up to the sky, high lunge. All about how you plant your feet. So don't rush to get into the pose. Pay attention. How am I planting my feet? Release the hands down to the floor. Walk forward, step up, standing split. Let your mind go about whether you can do this, can't do this, want to do this, don't want to do this. All right, you come to class to let go. Come to yoga to let go. So quit holding on. Good. Step all the way back. Nice long lunge. Drop the back knee to the floor this time. Good. Both hands inside the front foot. Walk to the upper left-hand corner of your mat. Yeah. So walk yourself a little bit away from that knee. So a little bit more towards the left. Out on your fingertips. Separate your hands nice and wide. Good. And then let your elbows bend just a little bit so that you're not on straight arms holding you up, but you're letting your chest drop towards the floor. And if you want to do those little push-ups, you can. If you're happy to just stay here and let your breath kind of carry you, that little up and down like a bird on the water, let yourself do that. The idea is for you to feel the wideness of your back, and with your hands wide and your elbows bent, you start to feel your chest and your upper back as one unit. You start to feel where there needs to be an openness. Good. That maybe is not your habit. Nice. Good, you guys. And then if you're diligently doing those push-ups, let yourself come to rest. Drop down to your forearms if you'd like, or just stay on fingertips. Good. And by dropping down onto your forearms, I want you to really go into the weightiness of your pelvis. So Ronnie, just watch that your knee doesn't fall forward. It doesn't fall in. Good. But I want you to get into the weightiness of your pelvis and that drawing down of your right thigh crease. Yeah, draw it down towards the floor. I know you're all looking like, where is my thigh crease? Where is it going if it's not towards the floor? Good, you guys. Walk yourself back in, please. Good. Plant your left hand on the floor, right arm to the sky, spinal twist. Take that right hand back behind your head. Yep. So pressing the head back into the hand, bring the elbow slightly forward. And as the elbow comes forward, draw the top of your right rib cage back. Pull your belly away from your thigh. Good, and then press the head back into your hand. Again, keep the elbow spinning slightly forward. Don't let your elbow be back further than your head. Good, now tuck your back toes, lift your back knee, come into a higher lunge, still in the twist. Good, squeeze your feet towards each other, scoop that right butt cheek under so your knee moves forward. That's it. Now stretch the arm over your ear, please. Deep breath in. Good. Release that hand down to the floor. Nice job. Step your left foot forward just a little bit. Take both legs to straight. Parsvottanasana. Good. Scoop into your low belly. Push your butt to the sky. Bow deeply. Dropping the head, which means that when we drop the head, we start to drop the habitual space of the mind. Again, let your breath hold you. Instead of your mind, let your breath hold you. Your mind's exhausted. It's got nowhere else to go. Your breath is eternally free. It has everywhere to go. So what is forever rising in you? What does it feel like to have your own sense of optimism? I hope it's not logical, because logic is always going to keep us trapped in one direction. Good. Nice, you guys. Step that left foot a little bit wider to the left, please. Turn the toes out to 45 degrees. Bend your front knee, come into warrior one. Inhale the arms up to the sky. Good. Nice, nice, nice. Cross the wrists overhead, please. So your wrists cross, then press your palms together and bend your elbows out wide. So you're pressing your palms against each other, but the elbows bend. Good. So again, you're finding the wideness of your chest, and draw the arms back in space just a little bit. Draw your head back in space just a little bit. Really push into the hands and pull your elbows wide. Drag your armpits down, but your upper chest goes higher. Good. And then let yourself scoop into your belly. Send that right knee forward over the front ankle. That's it. Nice, you guys. Release the arms out and down. Bring your hands behind you to hold at your low back. Interlace the fingers. Deep breath in. Good. Spin your back heel up, please. Take your chest forward parallel to the floor. Then step up, warrior three. Left thigh comes parallel to the floor. Good. Keep the arms reaching back. Chest lifted. So the arms are a way to remind you not to drop the chest. Good. Kick that back thigh higher, just like you did in that standing split. Good. Nice, you guys. Step back to high lunge. Inhale the arms up to the sky. Good. And then release the hands down to the floor. Step back, downward facing dog. Vinyasa, if you would like, child's pose if you prefer, or of course you can stay in dog. If you're doing the vinyasa, you're sliding forward to plank, lowering down to your belly, knees, chest, chin if you'd like, rising up, cobra. Good. Find your way back, downward facing dog. Beautiful. Left leg comes up and back, down dog split. Good, reach out through that heel. So pull your weight out of your hands, away from your hands. Yeah, and then step that foot forward between the hands, lunge. Walk the fingertips straight ahead. So you're coming straight into that standing split. Right thigh comes parallel to the floor. Good. Right hip is spinning down, left hip is lifting. There you go. Step all the way back to lunge. Inhale the arms to the sky, high lunge. So rise up, pull from your waist, pull up from your belly, pull from the front of your pelvis, lift the chest. Good. And then bow forward again, hands to the floor, walk straight ahead, step that right leg up, standing split. Good. And then step all the way back. Come into high lunge. Inhale the arms to the sky. Don't stop reaching until you come into maybe a back bend where your hands are coming to the wall behind you. Keep reaching. This is high lunge. So you keep extending through your side body until there's nowhere else to go. Good. And then bring it all the way back up, hands to the floor. Walk yourself forward, standing split. Nice. And this is the thing, right? Is that we often feel like we've gone as far as we can go, but we haven't, right? Because maybe we haven't been motivated to reach a little further, or we're holding something back because we're like assuming that the next moment is going to be so hard. We've got to keep something in reserve. Step back to lunge, keep your hands on the floor this time, drop the back knee, both hands come inside the front foot, walk to the upper right-hand corner of your mat. And I think that pattern of holding something back because we're assuming that what's coming next is going to be too hard, is that creates the stagnation just as much as the actual challenge itself. But walk yourself a little further away from the front knee, widen those hands so that you have space for your chest, and then let your elbows bend and either just hang there with the wide chest, with the wide back, or do those little push-ups if you'd like. But let your breath carry you either way. If you're doing the push-ups, you're doing it with your breath, with your chest, not with your arms. Good. Nice, you guys. Right along with that idea of inner motivation is that where is there that automatic tendency to hold yourself back? Because until you've put all of your effort, until you've put everything that you are into finding that state of inner peace, that state of inner equilibrium, we can't say that it's not possible. We can't say that it can't be done. We can't say that there's no way forward if we haven't put every piece of ourselves, every ounce of ourselves into it. Good. Let yourself come to stillness, please. Maybe dropping straight onto the elbows, maybe staying up on your fingertips. And really let that left thigh crease start to reach for the floor. So it's not so much that you're trying to drop your back thigh, but you're trying to let your left thigh crease, it's your front thigh crease, get deeper. So maybe it feels like you're scooping your left butt cheek under so that your pelvis moves forward a little bit, and that allows the thigh crease to go deeper. Good. Again, it doesn't have to be from a pushing, it's just a changing of the angles. And asana is transformation of the body by changing the angles. Good. Walk yourself back up onto your hands, please. Right hand plants, left arm comes to the sky, spinal twist, back knee is still on the floor. Good, and as your belly moves away from your thigh, again, I want you to scoop that left butt cheek, move your pelvis slightly forward. So it's gonna feel like your knee is moving slightly forward. So you can lift your pelvis a little bit more towards vertical, a little bit more towards neutral. Good, take that left hand behind your head. Press your head back into your hand, but spin that elbow slightly forward. Good, and then move the top of your left rib cage back. Yeah, and then press your head back again, long throat. Good, maintain that, tuck your back toes, lift your back knee, come into that higher lunge, still in the twist. Good, back thigh gets super lifted, so don't let it hang towards the floor. Good, Kristen, good, Alice. Stretch that left arm over the ear, please, extend. Nice, just don't let your knee fall open too much. And then release that hand down to the floor. Really good, you guys. Step your right foot forward just a little bit. Take both legs to straight Parsva. Yeah. Scooping into your belly, push your butt to the sky. So your legs become straight, not because you're trying to push your knees to straight, but because you're lifting your pelvis away from your heels. You're giving your legs that maximum amount of space for them to be their full length. Good. And continue to feel like the breath is holding you. Even if you get to a point in any pose or any point in class or in life where you're like, I cannot hold myself up anymore. It's okay, relax some of the effort. The breath will still hold you. And that feeling of ever rising is that if you do let go, you do collapse, you do fall to the floor, you still have the ability to get up. Maybe it takes you a minute or two or three. Every time we let ourselves fall out of that state of mind where there's nowhere to go, rise back up into something else, maybe a little bit more optimistic. Good. Step that right foot a little wider to the right, turn the toes out to 45 degrees, maybe lengthen your stance because you're coming into warrior one. Bend your left knee, take the arms up alongside your ears. Good. So the top of that right hip, your back hip is spinning forward and you're pulling the top of your left hip back in space. So again, you're changing the angle and then scoop into your low belly, send your left knee forward a little more. So it's right over the ankle. Good, Kristen. And then cross your wrist overhead. If you can put the other wrist in front from what you did last time, do that. Turn your palms towards each other. So your hands are pushing against each other. Elbows go out wide and push the crown of your head up. Good. Your armpits are super wide, your chest is very lifted, long side body, and let your knee move forward over the knee, over the ankle. Good, and then draw that back thigh up and away. Pull the thighs apart, that's it. Good, you guys, one more breath, elbows super wide, chest open. Good, release the hands out and down, hold hands behind your low back, front knee is still over the front ankle. Long spine still. So as you start to lift that chest, don't let the ribs pop forward. Pull them in. So Jan, draw your ribs in a little bit more. Good. Spin your back heel up, please, more towards a high lunge. Take your chest forward. Send your weight onto that left leg. Take your right leg up. Warrior three. Good. You gotta kick that left thigh higher. That's it. Keep your chest up, throat up. Nice, you guys. Beautiful. And then step back to that high lunge again. Inhale the arms up to the sky. Good. And then release the hands down to the floor. Step back, downward facing dog. Nice job. Slide forward to plank pose, everybody. Lower down slow to your belly. Use knees, chest, chin if you'd like. Good. And then bend your knees, kick your heels in towards your butt. Reach back, right hand for right ankle, left hand for left ankle. Draw those heels down towards your glutes. Good. Keep your thighs rooted to the floor. And as your thighs root down, maybe the front of your pelvis pops up. It feels like your butt pops up a little bit. That's fine. Then draw those front pelvic points forward towards your ribs. Draw your low rib cage in towards your front pelvic points. Keep your heels on your butt. Bend your elbows, lift head, neck, and chest. So just the upper back is lifting and your elbows are bending. That is absolutely part of the pose. So don't try to straighten the elbows, try to bend the elbows as much as you can and get into that rotation of your shoulders. Good, super wide chest, root the thighs down, heels in towards your butt. You can have pressure of the feet back against the hands, but don't lift the thighs. From the back of your heart, pull up. Yeah, there it is. Good, and then release, please. Stretch the legs straight out back behind you. Good, take your arms straight forward in front of you. Yep, forehead to the floor. Press through the front of the legs, float the legs up off of the floor. Lift head, neck, and chest. Arms up. Kick your feet, pedal your arms, swim. That's it. Again, little movements. Kick your feet, pedal the arms. Let your mind go. It doesn't matter that it's work. This is the thing. At some point in yoga, when I say we let go, is we let go of the idea that because life is work, that it's too hard. It's work. Everything is work, effort. But you can move through that effort in a way where you know that you're being held, and so it becomes less like it pulls life away from you. That optimism is that it's the spirit rising, it's giving life back. Good, deep breath in, lift everything. Thank you. And release. Good, make a pillow with the hands, please. Forehead can come to rest on the hands or turn one cheek to the side if that feels better. If the low back is feeling a little bit like that was too much work, separate the feet a little wider. That will help give the back more room to breathe, more space. Good. Forever rising spirit. To me, it's pretty comforting that there's the idea that there is an energy that is always in that state of uplifting. There's always that state that is rising to the top, that is rising above what feels like it's heavy. There's never a point where you're going to turn around and say, oh, that energy has fallen. Oh, that energy is going in a different direction. Always rising. You don't have to keep it rising. The things that if you're convinced that you're going to force yourself to be optimistic, you're going to exhaust yourself more. It's not something we make happen, but it's something that we find. Where is there the sense that I can take one more breath? And that breath is going to hold me. And take one more step. And I know it's work, but that work is not going to destroy me. And whatever it is in your mind, however those energies translate into your thought process, we say, well, that's your realistic motivation. The parts of your personality that were built to carry you through your life. And they're not always the ones that we assume are the ones that are supposed to carry us. Walk your hands back in, please. Good. Press up to hands and knees. Take your right leg up and back, so right leg comes in line with your shoulders. Jackie, separate your hands again. For some of you, if you really have this habit of you always shorten yourself, I want you to like take tape and like put it on your mat that is the realistic, this is how wide my shoulders are. This is how wide my hips are. All right, right leg is lifted. Walk your left arm forward. Because we need the constant reminder, right? Because in our minds, we're like, no, I'm going to go to that same restricted place that I'm really used to. Feel comfortable there. Good. Bend your right knee, kick your heel in towards your butt, reach back for the foot of the ankle. Yeah. Good. And still with that sense that you can kick that foot back into your hand, but really lift through your upper chest. Try to take yourself into that back bend where your chest is pulling forward. Yeah. And then kick the foot back into your hands. Pull your ribs in more. Awesome. And then extend all the way back out. Very nice. And then release back to hands and knees. Good. Come into the second side. Left leg comes up and back behind you. Right arm walks forward. Take your balance. Good. And then left knee bends. Kick your heel in. And again, that little lift. So from your thigh, lift up. And then take that right arm up and back. Take it as high as you can as you reach back. So sometimes we collapse in the shoulder in order to just get the arm back there. But I want you to stay with that lifted chest as much as you can. And then you're still lifting that thigh up. So even when you've got hold of the foot, don't assume that that's all there is. Keep lifting. Good. Try to pull that chest forward so that your left shoulder is not falling forward and your right one is totally open. Try and square the ribs. Nice, nice, nice. Good, Sarah. Nice, Nancy. Good. Extend all the way back out. Awesome, you guys. And then release back to hands and knees. Good. Downward facing dog. Bend your knees. Do a little cat-cow with your knees bent in down dog. Good. And changing the angles. And then stretch the legs back to straight, please. Let the spine come back to neutral. Nice job. Right foot steps forward between the hands, lunge. Drop the back heel, baby toe parallels back of your mat, warrior two, cartwheel the arms up. Good. Nice, you guys. I want you to try to find that squeeze at the back of your thigh. So lift and spread the toes of the front foot, lift the toes up, and then drag your right heel back towards your back heel. Good, and send your knee forward more. So it's like you're putting more weight onto the heel of the front foot. Good, because I want you to feel that contraction at the back of your thigh up into your right butt cheek. Good, and then relax the toes, but keep the legs super engaged. Turn your palms to face up, bend the elbows, bring the fingertips to the tops of your shoulders, and do little circles. Good. Nice. Move your circles the other direction. Beautiful. Come back to stillness, please. Reaching long through that underside of the arms. Push out. And then extend the arms from that. Awesome. Straighten your front thigh. Good. Come up on the heel of the front foot. So lift the toes. Drag back. So you're squeezing the legs towards each other like crazy. Lift your right hip point a little higher. And then extend your ribs forward. Reach out towards triangle. Stay up on the heel. Good. Let that right hand start to touch down. Good. Left arm to the sky. Keep squeezing the legs. Beautiful. And then release that right foot to the floor, but keep the same energy of the legs squeezing towards each other and the hips pulling up. Good. I'm enjoying about this return to a lot of body conditioning that used to be my life, right? It used to be my life when I was young, dancer, acrobat, so I was always beating my body up. So I can't say that I'm doing that exactly now, but what I find that I forgot is that I miss using my body to its fullest potential. And for many of us, I don't think we even know what that full potential is. What we assume is all we've got. Take one more breath and realize that there's still energy in you that can rise. Bend that right knee, release the hands down to the floor. Good, spin your back heel up. Take your right leg up and back to down dog split. Yep, breathe out through the heel. And then bring that right knee forward and wide for pigeon. Good, yep, you got it. Right knee forward, out towards your right wrist, heel crosses towards the left hip point. Good. Send that outer left hip forward a little bit more and then walk yourself straight ahead, find your pigeon pose. But I want you to still have this feeling that you're trying to wrap that right sit bone under, so it's reaching for the floor. That's going to create more space in the back of your pelvis. Good. Optimism. Optimism is not a blind optimism of just trying to make things look nicer than they are, or convince yourself that they're better than they are. But that optimism, I think, occurs when we realize that we can fall to the depth of ourselves and it's still possible to rise. It happens when we know where our edges are. It happens when we know, when we're sure we've met the limits of what we can do. And at that moment when you're at the limit of what you think you can do, you take one more breath and realize there's more. I think that's where it is forever rising, that sense of resurrection, is that you can fall to your rock bottom as many times as you need. And there's still the ability to rise. Yoga is always about understanding reality, understanding the reality that is beyond what your mind assumes. I guarantee that your mind does not give you enough credit. I guarantee that that learned interpretation of the world does not give you enough access to your real resilience, your real strength, your real compassion. We practice to search out all of that energy that hasn't been used. Rising spirit. Good. Walk yourself back up onto your forearms, please. Optional here, bend your back knee, kick your heel in towards your butt, reach back, right hand for the foot of the ankles, the twisting quad stretch. And if being on the elbows doesn't work, you can absolutely be up on your hands instead. Good. Nice. Chest open, chest open, chest open, shoulders open. Beautiful. And then slowly release that. Good. Take the hands to the floor, tuck the back toes, lift the back knee, back to downward facing dog. If you're doing pigeon on your back, doing this back and down dog, because we're going to go through standing poses first before we come to the other side. Good. All right. Left leg comes up and back, down dog split. Good. Step that foot forward between the hands, lunge. Drop the back heel, baby toe parallels back of your mat, cartwheel the arms up, warrior two. Good. And then lift the toes of the front foot. So lift and spread the toes. Bring more of the weight. So Jackie, keep the ball of the foot on the floor. Debbie, ball of the foot on the floor. Just lift the toes. And I want you to feel that drawing your weight more into the heel. Squeeze the heel back and bring your knee forward over the ankle. So I want that contraction at the back of your thigh up into your left butt cheek. Good. Then relax the toes, turn the palms to face up, bend your elbows, bring the tips of your fingers to the tops of your shoulders, and start to do little circles. Little circles with your elbows lifted high enough so that you feel that this is moving through your armpits. It's moving through that lower edge, that underside of the arm. And it's not your ribs flexing forward and back, so keep your ribs as still as you can. Good, move your elbows the other way. Nice. And then come to stillness, really reach out long from your armpits to the tips of your elbows, pull out and pull up through the crown of your head. And then extend the arms all the way out. So there's that feeling that the extension already happened and your fingers are just the final point in that. Good, straighten the front thigh, please. Come up on the heel of your front foot, so this time lift the toes all the way. Good. Drag the front heel back towards the back heel so your legs are squeezing together. Extend your left rib cage forward like you're coming to triangle. You are coming into triangle. Good. And then start to let that hand drop down, front leg, floor or block, right arm to the sky. Stay up on the heel for another breath. Rotate that left butt cheek under. So it's like you're turning your toes slightly out. That's it. And then let that foot come flat to the floor, please. Good. Keep the legs squeezing in and the energy rising up through the inside edge of the legs. Beautiful. You really want to feel in triangle that even though your hand may be on the floor, that it may be needing to press into something solid, that you are really holding yourself from your waist, that your legs are really holding you, and that that center place of you is the one that everything extends from. So you're not falling into your hand and you're not stuck in your feet. Awesome. Good, you guys. Bend that front knee, release the hands down to the floor. Spin your back heel up. Send your left leg up and back, down dog split. Breathe long. Good, and then bring that knee forward and wide. Pigeon pose, left knee towards the left wrist. Good, send that outer right hip spinning forward, left low belly pulls back, and then find your resting pigeon. I know it's a strange place to say this is where you really want to practice resting, but it is. Right, the sort of joke with pigeon is always that because the nature of the muscles that you're working and the nature of the position itself is that the longer you stay in it, the more beneficial it is. The more things begin to really open when you just stay. So there's the effort of it's not an easy pose to be in for most people. Feels like it's work. And at the same time, can you let yourself rest in that work and feel like maybe there's an energy that is generated, not by you trying, but by you staying. This is a practice that is about your internal world. Where you rise and you fall is inside, not outside. You practice finding those spaces where even in the most difficult place of effort, you feel the breath holding you. By stepping out of the effort for a moment, we start to feel that that flow of prana, that flow of energy is going to keep moving, even if our mind can't direct it anymore. What a relief. What a relief to know that if your mind gives up, there's still something moving. Walk yourself back up onto the forearms or onto your hands. Bend that right knee, kick your heel, and reach back the left hand for the foot or the ankle if you're going for the quad stretch, twisting quad stretch. Good. You're turning the ribs, you're opening the belly, and you're still trying to scoop that left butt cheek and draw it down to the floor. So again, you're in pigeon, you're always trying to get your pelvis rooted down to the floor. So scoop that left butt cheek, let it go lower down. That's it. And then chest open. Nice. Good, you guys. Slowly release. Can't tell if Sarah's having fun or not. Good. Lift that back knee, downward facing dog. Beautiful, you guys. Walk your feet forward towards your hands. I know you could jump, but walk. I know some of you jumped automatically thinking I was going to say bonus points. Bonus points are for walking this time. Don't assume you know. I change the rules whenever I want. Standing forward fold. Bring your feet together, please. Come up on the tippy toes of your feet. Bend your knees into a little squatting chair pose. So bring your hips down towards your heels. Stay up on the balls of your feet if you can. If the knees don't like this, keep your feet flat, come into chair pose the normal way. Inhale the arms up to the sky. Good, super bonus point. Some of you are in a higher chair pose, but still on the balls of your feet. Good job. Hands at your heart center, please. Prayer twist, right elbow to the outside of your left knee. Good, try to keep the knees squeezed together, you guys, especially if you're in that low chair. Good, really nice. Good job, Debbie, good Pam. Come back to center, good job, Lisa. Twist the other way, please. Left elbow to right knee. I know, don't let those knees fall to the side. Keep your knees pointing straight ahead towards your toes. Good. Back to center, please. Arms up, deep breath in, drop those hips. Yes, and then release the hands to the floor, please. Release your heels, come on down to sit gracefully. Bottoms of the feet together, knees wide. I'm telling you, a little bit of butt stuff every day. You'll be so happy. Good. Hold the ankles, please, and pull up. So you're holding the ankles, you're lifting up so that your shins have a lift. And then from there, you're going to pull yourself into your forward fold. So holding the ankles, pulling up, drag yourself into your forward fold, bend your elbows wide. Good. Soften your shoulders away from your ears. That means widen your chest. It means push through the crown of your head. Good. Nice, you guys. And then walk yourself all the way back up. Good. Stretch the right leg straight out in front of you. Left knee stays bent. Bring the bottom of the foot to the inside of the right thigh. Inhale the arms up to the sky. Good. Little twist to your right, and then bow over the right thigh. Anu Shirshasana. Good. I kind of like this format because I get to watch you guys like ad-lib. Sometimes you just decide that you're going to do something other than what I said. Sometimes it's really good ideas. I like your ad-libs. Really turn those left rib cage, that left rib cage, you guys. Turn it in, turn it in, turn it in so that your right side can go a little wider. The other way, Lauren, turn yourself more towards the thigh. There you go. Good, Jackie. Good, one more breath. And then walk yourself back up, please. Widen your left knee, so pull the knee a little wider so you're coming more towards that half straddle. The left heel is still in towards the right thigh. Good, and then walk that right arm inside the leg towards the inner heel, so stretch over that right side. Take the left arm over the ear. Good, extend. Beautiful. Reach through your fingertips, you guys. So if your elbows are bending, stretch them longer. Good. And then come all the way back up, please. Good. Come into a spinal twist. Right hand comes to your left knee. Left hand comes behind you. Keep that right hip and thigh rooted to the floor. Yep. So you're turning towards the bent knee. There you go. Right hand to left knee. Yep. You got it. Good, and then draw into that belly. Make sure you can still feel both sit bones. Keep your right hand on your knee, take your left arm up to the sky, and then reach again over your right leg, over your extended leg. Good. Mark, just keep that left arm up over your ear, turn your shoulders more. That's it. Good, you guys. And then bring yourself all the way back up. Good, take both hands straight out in front of you. Just keep the legs exactly as they are. Walk yourself forward, forward fold. So straight ahead from your pelvis. Yep, forward fold, you got it. Interesting to feel the difference between the straight leg and the bent knee, that you can still send both groins down towards the floor, but it's going to feel different on both sides, right? I want you to become aware of the angles. I want you to become aware of how your body is put together. That you're not walking around in your life saying, I have no idea the home that I live in. Good, walk yourself back up, please. And then switch the legs. So take the left leg straight forward in front of you. So square the hips again. Right knee bends, bottom of the foot to the inside of the left thigh. Inhale the arms up to the sky. Little twist to your left and then bow forward. Good. Keep your feet awake. Good, Alana, just watch that your foot doesn't fall out to the side. Yeah, you want to keep that inner thigh rolling down. That's it. Yep. Feeling of optimism. Whatever the circumstances of your momentary life, you tap into the space in you that says, I can still breathe. There's another breath to be had. Good. Walk yourself back up, please. Move that right knee a little wider. Again, you're opening the pelvis a little further. Make sure you can still feel both sit bones. And then walk that left arm inside the left leg towards the heel. Good. Turn your right rib cage open. Take the right arm over the ear, side body stretch reach. Keep turning that left inner thigh down towards the floor. So especially in this position, it's going to want to fall open. The toes are going to want to fall out to the side. Don't let them. Good. All of the rotation comes from your waist. So you're turning your right rib cage open more if you want to feel more rotation. Really good, Anne. Nice. And then super long arms. So stretch those elbows a little straighter. That's it. Good. And then come all the way back up, please. Come into your twist. So taking the right hand back behind you, left hand comes to that bent knee. So left hand to right knee, right hand behind you. Curl into your belly, send your left butt cheek back and down, left thigh back and down. Good. And then keep yourself in the twist. Left hand stays where it is. Take the right arm up over the ear and lean over that left leg again. Good. Still turning the ribs open, open, open. Still with that super long right arm. Good. Fred is in the shadows, but looks good. Nice, Diane. Beautiful, you guys. And then slowly release, come all the way back up. Good, and then again, hands straight in front of you. Walk yourself forward, forward fold. Just feel the difference of what it feels like to relax the straight leg versus the bent leg. To send the groins down, either direction. Don't let that left foot fall open. Nice, and then walk yourself back in, please. Good job, you guys. Take both legs straight out in front of you. Hands come behind you. Bend your knees and plant your feet. So the legs come straight out first, and then bend the knees so your hips are square. Hands behind you, fingers pointing towards your heels if you can. Good. Bend your elbows. drop into your hands. As you bend your elbows, you're lifting your chest up, 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 up. Find it. Hug those upper arms towards each other. Press into the mounds of your fingers. And then draw your low rib cage in, even though you're lifting your chest as high as you can. Soften those ribs in. Scoop into your low belly. Lift your hips up. Come into reverse table. Good. If this is super challenging on the arms, take your hands wider. You bring your hands wider, your shoulders have room to rotate. Good. Forever rising from your inner thighs, rise up. Yes. Good. And then release the hips down to the floor. Nice job. Good, you guys. Scoot forward on your mat. Come one down to your backs. Good. Bring your legs up to the sky. Straight up. Arms out wide, letter T. Good. Yeah. So like you have a block between your legs. If you don't have one, don't bother getting one. You're fine where you are. But just imagine. So I want you to have that feeling that you're actually hugging the legs towards something. Good. I want you to keep your low back on the floor. So draw those front ribs down to the floor as much as you can. Front ribs down to the floor. Good. And then just let your legs move to the right just a little bit. So as the legs move to the right, it's only so far that your left rib cage is not popping up at all. Good. Bring it back to center. Move the legs to the left. Right armpit does not lift at all. Good. Come back to center. Move the legs to the right. Back to center. Move them to the left, keeping your ribs anchored to the floor. Back to center. Good. Now bend your knees to 90 degrees. Have your knees straight on top of your hips. Good. So that means your feet have to move forward a little bit more. Jen, move them forward. That's it. Keep your feet flexed. Yeah. Nice, you guys. And now start to let your knees drop to the right like you're going to come into a spinal twist, but only so far that your left arms and ribs don't pop up. And then bring it back up to the center. You got to use your belly here. Drop your knees over to the left like you're going to come into spinal twist. Keep your right ribs on the floor. Come back up to the center. Keep those knees at 90 degrees. Drop them to the right. Good. So don't let your heels fall. Back up to center. Good. One more time to the left. Don't let your ribs lift. Good. Back to center. Nice job. Pull the knees in. Come into happy baby. Good. And I'm sorry if those things aren't fun for you. I can't say that they're always fun for me either. But those little bits of using your body in ways that it's not used to. Little bits of finding that inner source of, oh, there's actually strength here that I didn't know that I had. The point of the asana is to re-understand, recreate your inner world, how it fits with your concept of your outer world. Good. Bring the bottoms of the feet together. Drop your heels in towards your groin. Don't drop the knees. Just hold the ankles like you're in Baddha Konasana with your knees up towards your armpits. Good. So Ronnie, just lift the heels up off the floor and hold your ankles. Yeah. So you're on your back with your legs in Baddha Konasana, but your heels lifted. Don't worry about it. By the time you get there, we'll be done. Good. Bring the knees back together, please. Good. Cross your right thigh on top of your left. Wrap the legs like you would for eagle. Take the left arm over top of the right in front of your chest. So you're in eagle pose on your back. Good. Press the shins against each other. Yeah. Lift those hands up off of your face. Lift your forearms up. And then drag those armpits down towards the floor. So really pull wide through the upper chest. Good. And then bring your knees forward so they're right on top of your hips again. So you feel a little bit more of your lower back. And that's it. I know we could do the crunches here, and believe me, I thought about it, but I think you're fine. Just feel the full extension of your spine. Good. Pull those armpits down. Yeah, squeeze. Squeeze the forearms, squeeze your shins. That's enough. Awesome. And then release, stretching both legs and both arms up to the sky, straight up. Good. And then switch to the other side, please. So left thigh comes on top of right, right arm comes on top of left. And again, if that's not the second side for you on either the legs or the arms, just make sure that you've done the cross on both sides. Press your shins against each other. Press the forearms against each other. Draw your armpits down to the floor so you get into the wideness of your back. Good. Don't squeeze the forearms so much that you can't open your chest. Knees forward just a little bit so they're right on top of your hips. Good. Squeeze. Nice. And then slowly release, arms up to the sky, legs up to the sky. Good. And then bring the knees back in towards the chest. Hug. Good. Keep the right knee in, extend the left leg straight down to the floor. Come into spinal twist. The knee comes across the body. Right arm goes wide. Or up alongside the ear if that feels better. Optional, if you want to go for one more thigh stretch, bend the left knee. That's the leg that is extended out. Bring your heel in towards your butt. Reach down to find the foot or the ankle. Good. Now that you're laying down, I can see almost none of you, so I assume you're doing something. Good. Slowly unwind. Come back to center, please. And then go ahead and switch the legs. So stretch the right leg out, left knee in towards your chest. Come into spinal twist. Cross the body. Left arm goes wide or up alongside the ear, whichever one feels like it gives you the most space to breathe. And then optional, again, if you want that last thigh stretch, is the left leg bends, right knee bends, the extended leg. You reach back to the foot of the ankle. Good. And then slowly release. And back to center. Hug the knees in towards the chest. Bring your forehead up to meet your knees. Squeeze, maybe roll on the spine a little bit if that feels good. Good. And then stillness, one more squeeze. Really pull in. Press into your back rib cage. Pull through your belly. And then release. Extend the legs out in front of you. Use your dogs as bolsters if they're there. Just put your legs right on top of them. They'll love it. Arms alongside you, palms up. Practice again that feeling of the breath holding you. When your mind disappears or when your mind lets go, you feel yourself being held. Feel the breath as that energy that is forever rising. Eternally bringing life back. gently bring the awareness back to your breath. Feel the body begin to stretch and move in whatever way serves it well. And as you're ready, draw the knees in towards your chest. Roll to your right side. And take a moment there before you begin to push the floor away. Come back to an upright seated position. Bring the hands together in front of the heart center or whatever mudra has been serving you best. And so in Kundalini Yoga, it's pretty common if you've done it before. It's a lot of repetitive actions. It's a lot of breath. It's a lot of movement that just goes and goes and goes. Sometimes you're doing it for 30 minutes at a time. And you wonder, is it possible that you're going to survive? Is it possible that you're going to make it through? And somehow you do. Somehow you do. You come out to the other side of it. And so I think that at that point where you are able to suspend the mind from trying to do it through effort alone, from wondering, do I have enough to get through this? Do I have enough to keep going? That instead of wondering, you just fall into the breath. You fall into something that's bigger and it carries you. And sometimes that energy is the energy of the ones around you. But even more than that, it's always going to be the energy that's inside of you that is rising. And that's the power of this practice, is that when we suspend the mind, or we get out of the mind's idea that it knows how to get through, that it knows what the answer should be, that we start to feel ourselves being carried, and that we're able to do far more than we thought we could do. So we practice to find that feeling of the energy that is rising, not what's falling apart, not what has exhausted itself, but the energy that is eternally rising, your ability to eternally rise, no matter how many times you fall, no matter how difficult things are. If you can take another breath, you can move forward, you can move through. So practice that, right? Like the phoenix rising, eternally optimistic. There's a reason to keep trying. There's a reason to keep breathing. Even if your mind can't grasp it, there's still that energy that's rising. So pull into that. And that's what moves you through. Guarantee you can do it. Close the sound of Om. Deep breath in. Sliding those thumbs up to the space between the eyebrows. Namaste, everybody. Thank you guys so much. Have a great rest of your day, great rest of your week until I see you again. If you're staying for meditation, we're starting at 11:30, so you don't have to sign off. You can just stay on. If you do want to sign off, come back on, no problem. It's free. But if I'm not going to see you for meditation, have a great day.
Thank you. That